I was not a distinguished student by any means. Well, I love Loudoun County, and I moved out of here. Of course, a lot of people say when I moved, it raised IQ in both counties. My whole life has been, what little success I've had is because other people helped me or advised me. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I am smart enough to go ask somebody if I don't understand something. You know, I had some people tell me I was a self-made man. I said, yeah, all you got to do is look at me. Nobody else would make anything that would look this way. My name is J. Hamilton Lambert. I was born November 18th, 1940 in Loudoun Hospital, delivered by Dr. J.T. Jackson. And that was the beginning, obviously. My mother and father were both working an awful lot at the time. They were of meager financial means. And I spent a great deal of time with my grandmother Lambert. Grandmother Lambert was an extraordinarily strong woman and had lost her husband, who was a federal revenuer in Loudoun County, and was left with 4 children. My father was the eldest. He quit school to become the man of the family and assisted in helping my other uncles and aunts get college educations. I went through the old Leesburg grade school and was in the first class of Loudoun County High School, which was 1954. I went there as an 8th grader. I liked English, and primarily because of the teacher, Ms. Myers, and I liked history. I have about 4 rules I live by. Well, the first one is you take care of your family. Second one is you take care of your friends. Third thing is you don't want to be a burden on anybody. Fourth one's hard to achieve in life. I don't want to take any crap, if you will, from anybody. I was there for 31 years. I made my decision in 1980. Actually, a little bit before then. I said I was going to change my life at the age of 50, and I did. I left there in 1990. Fairfax was a great experience. I had 22 job titles in Fairfax. I won't bore you with naming them all because I'd probably miss a couple, but I ended up in 1975 election. After that, they fired the county executive and the deputy county executive, and I was in director of general services. And they asked me, the governing body of the county asked me if I would, didn't ask me, told me I was going to be acting county executive. So I called in the police chief and the fire chief, both who had worked with me, and I said, I trust you all. And you have so many thousand people, and you have so many thousand people. You have this much big budget. You put in what you need, and I'll support it. I don't have time to, if I can't trust you, that's no sense. And it shocked them. Not only did it shock them, but when the budget was before the board, they called the police chief up and said, do you have enough money? Your budget looks pretty tight this year. And he said, no, county executive's been very generous. What I'm most proud about in Fairfax County are the people that I helped come up behind me. The other things that I'm proud of, Washington Metro. I was the chairman of the Washington Metropolitan Chief Executive Officers for a number of years. During that time, we got the low flow agreement on the Potomac, which is still in place. We made mended relations with the District of Columbia, and we were able to do away with and work with them on the Laureate Penal Institute. And the governmental center, which I was not met with overwhelming acceptability by certain members of the public. I was sued over that, was successful in state Supreme Court. So somehow I muddled through.
I'd like to be remembered for just simply that, doing the best that I could. Thank you.
So Rick Over decided he wanted to come out and visit. And I was real busy that day, but he also wanted to meet me. And he said, I want you to do something. I said, yes, sir. You know, he's a very overpowering man. I said, what is he? He said, I want to ride on the back of a motorcycle. So here was Rick Over in his little suit, gets on the back of the motorcycle, and off they go. I started having dinners with him, and then one thing led to another. And he used to, I would, on the week, when he was speaking on the weekends or something, he'd make sure that he got a ticket for me, and I'd go with him. And it was kind of, there's an article in one of the papers called us the Odd Couple. I guess I get along with dogs and old people better than I do with anything else. And so I got to know Dr. Moore and Dr. Bless and Mr. Smith, and I was 20 years younger than most of them, and a couple of them maybe 30 years younger. So in the last 2 years he was alive, he'd asked me would I do some things for him, and I'll tell you exactly what I told him. I said, Dr. Moore, you holler and scream at everybody and carry on, and I can't stand that. And I said, I don't put up with that. And I said, oh, I won't do that to you. He was deaf, almost. I won't. I said, well, I know you're not. And I said, the first time you do, I'm out of here. I said, I'll make you a deal. I'll send you a bill at the end of the month. If you don't like it, you don't pay it. If I don't, I'm fired. If I don't send you a bill, you're fired. We start off like that. And they asked me if I would devote a significant amount of my time, I was running a little consulting business then, to helping them set up the foundation. I'm a big fan of concepts and strategies. I'm not a big fan of detailed plans. I've always believed if you want to make God laugh, tell him you got a plan. We've been highly successful. We started out, if you want to, after adjustments and real estate adjustments because some of the taxes weren't right and things, we'd say had about $17 million when we started out. Right now we're worth about $213 million. Now, we've given away over $50 million in cash. So we've already been a success. That's when you should give away. If you've got a full refrigerator, you don't need food. If it's empty, that's when you need it. And there's people that are going hungry in Loudoun County. Now here we are, the second richest, if not the richest county in the country. What the hell's going on? So I said, how much do you need? And I said, I'll get on the phone and ask the trustees if it's all right to give you the money to make up your deficit. And they said, yes. There's not a concentrated effort to recognize the people up here that do things for other people. Ed Hattrick, the prior superintendent, and I give him a great deal of credit. We sat down and created a program with the help of Knox Singleton, who's the head of Inova Systems, to start children in Loudoun County schools to have an ability to get an education and become a medical technician, not nurse, but technicians of different types, radiology, things of that nature. It's been highly successful. It's being duplicated in Winchester to some extent, Frederick County. I want to see a return on equity, human equity. Two habits that I've seen of the leaders that I've been around that I admire was to clearly communicate their vision, and to be able to effectively delegate. If you don't have that, you can't lead. But I have found that the leaders that I respect the most, and I'm not going to name them, could lay out a vision, delegate, and keep people on point. It's not enough just to delegate. You have to keep people on point. They'll stray. They'll stray. Now, I'm not an educated man, not a formally educated man. Not. George Mason gave me an honorary doctorate degree. I got a funny looking robe and a hat that makes me look like a fat Italian baker. So, but I mean, it's cool, you know, it's all right. I want to lean towards optimism, but I'm having a hard time getting there. I think the Congress in this country right now are like two guys fighting over a bar bill on the Titanic. Terrible. And I don't want to get any better either. I mean, you know, I'm not going to create an app and make $1 billion. You know, half the language I don't understand. I have seen people with a cheeseburger in one ear and a phone in the other and driving with their knees. I've been so blessed in my life. I mean, I'm like I say, I'm not a formally educated man. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to, but I know I've been lucky. That's it.